Have a got a
John
great
Mayer was
situation.
first guest.
first guest away deeper.
I feel very honored.
Come on.
Hey, there's
very
not a
honored.
better guest we could have on than Maddy Herrin.
Aw,
That's right.
you guys are kind.
We're pumped you're here.
So
Thanks for
pumped.
having me.
You were on time, smiling,
Matching.
bringing.
I know.
I mean, you
match.
guys look incredible.
This is
We are
cute.
matching. You did. This was intentional. You asked what I was wearing.
It
last
wasn't
night.
intentional, but I would be lying if I didn't say when you wake up in the morning and I help you pick out your outfit.
Yeah.
When I go to do mine, I cannot help but just have those
Have
color
that.
schemes in my head.
Yep,
It's like
yep.
I just gravitate, and then I
You're
show up and I'm like, oh wow, that's.
You're saying I
That's
inspire you a
adorable.
little bit. Is what you're saying.
So wait, do you pick out his outfit every morning?
I don't pick out his outfit. I help. I help him with the decision between
Yeah.
One or the
between
other.
one
I'll
or
give
the
like
other.
a couple options. She always needs to see it on.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I gotta
yes.
like do the little runway thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know.
I feel like your taste has gotten better since I've known you.
Oh,
Is that
thank you so
maturity
much.
or is that a
Thank
wife
you
stepping
so
in finally
much.
and saying,
I'm blushing right now. I think it would be I am trying to wear more. I'm a dad of 3, Grant Trout.
which means maturity.
Maturity,
Manhood.
So, especially on the weekends at church. I'm trying to dress like a dad of 3,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah. Well, you're tucking in your shirt now. I didn't want to
tucking my
say it,
shirt
but it
in.
looks really good.
He has now.
I
Is
own
it your
3
first
belts.
belt?
No, I own
Three?
3
The-
now.
the
I own
black
3
one
belts.
looked
I got a
good.
black one. I got 2 brown ones.
Oh my goodness.
With like,
You
I
own
mean,
more belts
I would
than I
show
do.
you, but yeah, 3 belts.
Did y'all ever go the shoelace belt? Y'all ever mess with
No,
that?
never did
No,
that.
I don't think
Yeah.
I did
Never
that.
Yeah,
did
before
that.
kids. I mean, you know.
Yeah,
you gotta
pre-pastoring.
mature.
I did see it though.
Ah, guys. Well, I am so honored to get to steward this podcast because these are 2 of my favorite people. I get to be with you all the time, but
Yeah.
Maddie, you and my wife, Maddie, have become close.
Yeah.
And
Love her.
I just want to honor you. You are a walking peace. Like you walk in rooms and you bring peace.
For sure.
And you have so much on your plate and yet you just carry this calmness and the joy of the Lord. And I want to honor you in that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
That you
That's so kind.
yeah, very special. So
Yeah.
guys, we're gonna jump in to talk about the story
Yeah.
of Way Church.
Yeah.
Exciting.
And so before we jump in, what I want to know is the Herrins have been married for almost 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing.
Flying
Years.
by.
But the church is only 2.5 years old.
Yeah.
And so tell us a little bit about who were the Herrins before Way Church.
Yeah. You want to go?
You start off.
Okay. Herrins before Way Church. We were living in Georgia. We were serving for my parents' church called Neighborhood Church. Shout out to Neighborhood Church
Shout out.
in Beaufort, Georgia. And basically, I would teach like every 4 or 5 weeks at the church for my dad.
Okay.
And then I was really like a full-time evangelist as well. So would just travel, preach at churches, conferences, universities, whatever. But when we weren't on the road together with our son, he was just born, we were serving at that church. We were learning how to shepherd. I would say, like I took the, you ever take the APES test, the
Yeah.
Apostles, Prophets, Evangelists, Shepherds, Teachers?
I've been sent it. I actually never took it though.
Okay, it's like the Enneagram for Christians, for
Okay.
people who aren't familiar. And there's these 5 offices found in the book of Ephesians that different Christians can be gift inclined towards. And I took it, and shepherd was my least talented one by like far.
Shepherd meaning like what would you say?
Like shepherding, like taking care of people.
Okay.
Like
okay.
taking care
Loving
of people.
people.
Yeah, it was like you're really bad at this. It was
Yeah.
like actually we don't even see it registering on the scale. Like I had these other ones that were high, but that was super low.
Yeah.
And so my dad's the best shepherd I've ever seen.
Yeah.
So we got to be there. My mom is a phenomenal leader in her own right. And we just got to learn from their leadership for a couple years.
And were y'all the college pastors?
No,
Or
we were
just serving.
I think our title was teaching pastor, but we kind of just helped wherever they needed and
Yeah.
got to be a part of like the board meetings. And it was just a really formative time where we were getting to grow in things we weren't good at, watching a healthy church thrive. And then we just started to feel the itch.
It was really fun because we actually moved right when COVID hit.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they had never gone online before
In Georgia. Yeah.
in Georgia
Yeah.
at Neighborhood Church. And
Yeah.
so we got to kind of jump in and already start being a part of like solving like,
Yeah.
a problem or building something that like hadn't been built before.
Yeah.
So like Noah said, it was just so fun doing it with family, getting to now learn how to lead adults, like not
Man.
people who are just younger than us,
Yeah.
but like even getting to come alongside, people who are older than us, and how do we steward that well, and how do we have church
Yeah.
during COVID?
Yeah. It was great.
Crazy time.
It was
man.
great.
Crazy time. I know I've heard his story, but were you kind of growing up thinking ministry was your route, or was this like, I married a pastor's son and this is my lot?
Here we go.
What was that call like?
Living in a parsonage.
Yeah. No, I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. I honestly never thought ever that I would move from there. Like I thought that's where I was going to be forever.
Small town?
I think it's grown.
Yeah,
It's definitely grown over the years. I wouldn't say like super small town, but my whole family's there. Like I have 2 brothers, my parents, my grandparents, my cousins.
Yeah.
Like that's just where my whole family was.
Yeah.
And I think I just was like, I loved Birmingham. So I was like, this is where I'll be. And I fell in love, like truly fell in love with Jesus in college. I was thankfully like raised, as a believer my whole life, but I had my own personal relationship in college. And at that moment, my grandmother and my grandfather were pastors when I was younger. And that's when she pretty much like spoke over me like, hey, I think that one day you're going to be in ministry.
Wow.
And I was just on fire for the Lord at that time. So I was like, okay, amazing. Like, that's so exciting. I love that. But I didn't know what that looked like.
Yeah.
So I just, got a job because you still have to pay the bills. And
Yeah, for sure.
I just kind of lived with my hands open and being like, if that means, I'm serving in my local church, great. Until I met this one.
Meanwhile, like while she's doing all that, I know we were going backwards here, but I'm leading a college ministry. So this is way pre neighborhood church in Georgia. This is Cleveland, Tennessee. I'm 22, I think when we met, or 23.
Somewhere around there.
And
Which we're going to have another podcast on how you met and the love story, because it's beautiful.
I'm leading this college ministry. I'm praying for my Beyonce that's going to sing Hillsong music. I'm praying for, I'm looking for a woman of God. And
Absolutely.
we start dating. That's another story. But it was so clear, like the peace that she brings into rooms that you referred to. It was like she started coming to these college ministry nights, and she would kind of sneak in and just like blend in with the crowd. We were trying to keep it a secret. We were dating. We didn't want any pressure on the relationship. And it was just like people were noticing her even though she was trying to hide. And that's how I knew. I was like, man, that girl's definitely called to ministry.
Wow.
So anyways.
Wow. That's beautiful.
That is so sweet.
So helping out at your dad's church.
Yeah.
At what point did you guys begin to feel a nudge, a stir, a whisper of, I think we should do this on our own? Like, how did the call of Way Church happen?
Yeah. So we knew we wanted to plant before we actually got to my parents' church. And so we told them that when we went. We were like, hey, we don't know if this is like 10 years from now or if this is 2 years from now. We just know we're called to it. Basically, when I was leading that college ministry in college, the guy that was discipling me, he was a church planter. And his name's Todd Stevenson. Shout out to Pastor Todd, absolute legend. And he's discipling me. We're meeting at this Starbucks one day. We would go there like once a week, once every other week. And I said, why did you church plant? That sounds insane. I was like, why would you just move your family? There's nothing there. There's no people, no money. Like, it just sounds insane. And his eyes just like lit up. And he was like, that's exactly why I love it.
Wow.
And he said, I think that church planters are kind of like the Navy SEALs of the kingdom of God. He was like, you just jump out of the helicopter and you hope you hit a bird.
Wow.
And bro, when he said that, like some people would hear that. I mean, I love Navy SEALs, so I immediately was in.
For sure.
Some people would hear that and be like, yeah, I think I'll do something else. But I heard that and I was like, that sounds exhilarating. I would love to do that. And that was where the seed was planted. And then the next couple years, I would go to ministry conferences or sit in a church service, and just the Holy Spirit in different rooms kind of reiterated to me, like, I've wired you for this. I've called you for this. And then there were people in our life who started to confirm it. So by the time we got to Georgia, we were like, we're going to do this. It's just a matter of really where and when, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Was that a similar journey for you? Like, when did you guys start to really talk about, hey, I think it's coming up, and I think it could be in Nashville, Tennessee?
Yeah.
Like, how did you guys choose that?
When did I tell you about church planning? Was it when we were dating? Did I already know?
That was one of the first conversations that we actually ever had when we dated.
Dang.
Which
A man with vision.
Yeah.
He laid it out.
Yeah.
He was the first guy I'd had in my life that was the most upfront in communication. Like, I never questioned a single thing coming from him. A lot of pressure was just taken off. And that was one of the first conversations we had. He was like, hey, I want to tell you this now because I know I feel called to start a church in the future. I don't know like when or where or what that looks like, but I know that I have this call. And if you don't feel like that's something that you want to be a part of, if you don't feel that same call, then no pressure. I don't think that this will work out. And I,
That is, wow. That is.
You might have said it a little bit.
You're with it or you ain't with it.
Listen, get on the bus because the bus is driving.
Wow. And you probably loved that.
I did. I was just like, okay. And I thought that it would take me a minute to think about it, but I think I sat there and I was just like, that sounds so fun. I'm so in. Like, let's do it. So I think just, from the beginning of us even dating, like I just knew that that was my future. And that was actually one of the hardest parts because I told you that I never thought that I would leave Birmingham.
Right.
Well, after that conversation, he was like, just so you know, I don't know where it's going to be, but I know it's for sure not in Birmingham.
Go Dogs, right?
I love Birmingham. I love Birmingham.
For sure.
A part of our story is like Maddie is from Church of the Highlands, one of our favorite churches.
Yeah.
And now like we do ministry at Church of the Highlands and with partners out of Church of the Highlands. And it was just like, we knew it wasn't there because Church of the Highlands was already doing so many of the things that we were hoping to do somewhere else. And so we love Birmingham.
We love Birmingham.
We knew that we weren't going to plant
Yeah.
So from that moment, I just knew, I was like, okay, if I'm like saying yes to this means that like I'm never coming back to the place I thought I would never leave.
Yeah.
Which I knew like God had to be in that for me to have peace about it.
Wow.
And I had peace about it. So I was like, okay, wherever this takes us, like
that's beautiful.
I'm in.
We had a couple like places in mind.
Okay.
And they all were in mind for different reasons. So I think the final list was Orange County, California, because we had friends out there that are friends with you, and we would go visit them, and we just loved it. We were like, how could you beat this weather?
Yeah,
this is.
I might be called a
we're
California
like,
on the
that's
beach.
literally it. It was
Orange
like
Beach.
we could do this.
I sense it.
And then we got on Zillow and we were like, maybe not.
Yeah,
maybe not. So it was Orange County. It was Tampa, Florida.
Wow.
Because
you were born and raised in Florida, right?
Born and raised in Florida.
Yeah.
Well, born in Georgia, but we moved when I was a baby, so it felt like I was born there. But loved Tampa, and so we were really close to Tampa. And then Nashville was the third. And Nashville came because when I was in college, it was only 2.5 hours from here. So I would come to Nashville all the time with my roommate. And then when we got married, it was like a very easy place for us to drive to get away. So this is where we spent like
Your birthday,
my birthday,
every year.
our first year, our first 2 years maybe we drove here, and it just kind of became this retreat spot. And we were really torn because we didn't feel that like, thus saith the Lord kind of a call to a city. And we'd heard different people have that. And we're like, maybe we're not praying right. Maybe we're not like, how do we get that?
I would assume every church planner has this like, it's there.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So that wasn't y'all's story.
It wasn't,
No.
at least not at the beginning. It was just very like, okay, well, like we like this because of this and that because of that, but we don't, how do we know if God is in one and not the other? And then we were talking to Pastor Rich Wilkerson Jr. and we were asking him how he knew that he was supposed to plant in Miami. And he said, oh, that was the easiest part. And he just was like, so like nonchalant.
So chill with it,
about
yeah.
And I was like, okay, why is that? And he was like, well, we just picked the city we loved the most. And
you can do that?
That's literally, we were like, are you
can do
allowed? And he was like, yeah, because then when ministry gets hard, we won't be tempted to leave.
Whoa.
And he said, and the more we fell in love with the city, the more we were burdened for the city.
Yeah.
And so it just made sense. And as soon as we heard that, Maddie looked at me and she's like, well, we're moving to Nashville. Because it was the city that we loved the most.
Wow.
It was the retreat spot. It was a place we'd come here to hear from the Lord. We'd come here to grow closer in our marriage. It was here. And so then we started praying and fasting, and God just started confirming it in a million different ways.
Wow.
Right? I mean, did I miss something there?
No, I think we had a few job opportunities in between that were like offered to us that were just, we were like, wow, like that would be so incredible. Like maybe this is, what we're supposed to take in this city. And then we pray on it and it's just like, we're like, no, it checks all the other boxes except for the peace. And we didn't have peace about it. And I do remember like, you were like, I think it could be Florida.
Yeah.
Cause great weather. You love Florida. I mean, I love Florida.
Yeah.
But I just looked at you and I remember being like, it's not Florida. That's before we had the confirmation that
you were pretty
Nashville.
hardcore.
Wow.
Yeah. I just was like, I know it's not Florida. I
Yeah.
don't have peace about it. And then, like you said, we just kept coming here. And then we had one trip for your birthday.
Yeah.
That was the trip that we were like, we're actually going to come in with the lens of like, could this really be the city? And we started driving around praying and we were just like, we just felt so excited.
Yeah.
We still didn't even know when, but we were like, this is it.
Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
we love this city so much.
Wow.
We started seeing people differently in the city.
You know, a crazy story is the Skeldons, who are like a key part of our church, lead in so many different ways, and they were the first couple that was in to the church.
And how did, just briefly, was that like y'all were just great friends, or
Grant and I were friends. I think Maddie and Cheyenne had met maybe once. And so Grant and I were close, and they came to Georgia where we were at, and we had just finished praying and fasting about Nashville, just taking that trip she's talking about, and we were like, okay, it's Nashville. And we went to get tacos with them. Remember that little taco place?
I love that taco place.
And
sounds good. I don't even
know.
know. I need some tacos right now.
And they were like, hey, like this is going to sound really crazy, but we have been praying and fasting to start the year. It was January. And they were in town for some sort of event. And
what year is this?
This would have been 2021, I think, right? Because we moved in 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 2021.
Okay.
And they're like, we've been praying and fasting to start the year. I think they had just gotten married, like right before this.
They just gotten married and just moved to Nashville.
Yeah. And they just moved to Nashville. And they're like, this is going to sound crazy, but we feel like we're supposed to help you start a church. Like, we know that you want to, like Grant and I had talked, like they knew that we wanted to start a church. They were like, it's going to sound crazy. We feel like we're supposed to help. We're supposed to be all in, which that alone was like a miracle, because they're just amazing people, amazing leaders. And then they were like, but we just moved to Nashville to take jobs, and we kind of need to know if it's going to be soon, because we don't want to like mess up this new opportunity. Like, we're just trying to get our heads around it. And we just like had goosebumps at the table of like, oh my goodness, like God is confirming this like days after we were in Nashville with this unprompted conversation with two people that we love and respect so much. And so that was like the first unofficial Way Church planning meeting over tacos, because then we just talked about the future church the whole time. But
that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, okay, when I think about church planners, I think about, let me wait till I'm 30, maybe 35.
Yeah.
Let me get a lot of ministry under my belt.
Yeah.
You guys were 27 when you moved?
Yeah.
28?
I was 27, you were 28.
And
just
you
started. I'm
started.
older than
Yeah,
you.
you are older than me.
Oh man, shout out. But tell me, I mean, how was being that young, 28 years old, going to plant a church?
Yeah.
And if I'm going to go plant a church at 28, it's probably not Nashville,
Right.
where there's a lot of established, mature, amazing churches.
For sure.
I mean, was that fearful? Was that, I'm questioning, can I? Like, tell me about being that young to start a church. Maddie, I'd love to hear from you first.
I think that was our biggest insecurity coming here or I'll speak for myself. I know it was for mine. Also, just because we get told all the time.
The age thing?
The age, because I mean, we just get told all the time too, like, you don't even look your actual age. Like, I thought you were in college, or I thought you were in sometimes I've gotten high school
People
before.
don't tell me
and
that.
I'm like,
they tell you that.
I'm like, well, I will receive that when I'm 50 and 60 and 70. So hopefully it sticks. But I think that was definitely the biggest lie that the enemy was feeding me personally is, who's going to want to follow underneath your leadership because you're just like a baby. Like, you have so much to learn. And thankfully though, like, we just had such an amazing group of people surrounding us continuously, just like pouring truth over us that, if you feel like God's in it, that doesn't matter. He's going to build his church.
Yeah.
You just have to say yes and be obedient. But it definitely was a struggle.
For sure.
Like, for sure. And honestly, sometimes the lie will still creep in every now and then when I want to, when I think about starting anything for the church. And then I'm like, oh, well, who's going to show up, you know?
Yeah.
And when I meet people, they're like, oh, you're the pastor's wife. And I thought you were in the college ministry. But I think it's also just such a beautiful opportunity for people to see that God uses everybody.
Yeah. Amen.
So
yeah,
amen.
It definitely was for me. I think twofold. It was like the age and the finance thing was like, okay, we anticipated it was going to cost around $600,000 to start the church. That's just like open the door on the first Sunday. And I had never seen anything close to that amount of money in my life. And I was like, why would anyone trust a 27-year-old with that amount of money? You know? And so there was that piece of it. There was the piece of it of like, how am I going to pastor anyone who's not in college? Like I could see why a college student would want to sit under my leadership, but why would the 50-year-old? And ultimately I leaned on this. I used to preach this sermon on fear to students. And anytime I was feeling fear, I would remind myself of this sermon. And basically the text is Matthew 14, when Jesus tells Peter to get out of the boat, come to him on the water, and he does it, and then he falls. And in the sermon title is "Come Through Drippin'." What a title, right? Okay, very youth sermon.
Yeah, dripping.
But basically, the premise of the sermon is that water represented fear to Peter, right? Like this is like a extremely scary situation. And I used to think that as a follower of Jesus, you either feel fear or you feel faith. And what we see in scripture time and time again is that a lot of times you feel both, and that it actually doesn't require faith until you've first felt fear. So like there's a big difference between the spirit of fear and the feeling of fear. And the spirit of fear is when you let fear tell you what to do, how to think, how to obey God or not obey God. The feeling of fear is an opportunity for you to trust Jesus in the middle of fear and see something that only God could get the credit for.
Wow.
good.
And so I used to preach this sermon, and when we started to feel that fear about the church, I would just remind myself, like, okay, fear in a believer's life, it should be like a metal detector going off. Like this is an opportunity for me to trust the Lord, and if I can trust him right now, I'm going to see something crazy. And I want to live a life full of crazy things.
Right.
Like I want to live a life that boasts in the Lord and puts our family in situations where God has to show up. Like too short not to. Yeah. And so we ultimately did it very afraid. Like we planted the church terrified. And I'll never forget a conversation that changed my life was we got here, we started, we could talk about that, but we got here, we started building the team, and one of the first couples to join the team were Rob and Robin Ellis, who some of my favorite people on the planet. And me and Rob, we went to Payway. We were eating some fried rice and some chicken for lunch.
Orange chicken?
Or I think it was orange chicken.
Yeah.
And we're sitting there, and I don't know his age. He's older than me.
Looks incredible.
Looks incredible. And I was just like, Rob, why are you choosing to sit under our leadership? Why are you choosing to be a part of Way Church? Because this is my biggest insecurity, and I just want to lean into whatever got you here. And he just like teared up, and he said, you don't need to think about that another minute. He said, if you want to reach people like me, reach people like you. And he just starts crying at the table. And it was like, it finally hit me like, God's going to bring the right people to be a part of the mission.
Yeah.
Not like there are things that we need to do. We need to be above reproach. We need to be like Timothy, an example in our speech and in our conduct and in love and in discipline and all those things. Like we need to try our best to do that. But ultimately, it's God who speaks to people's hearts. Yeah. And if we just reach the people we're called to reach, God will bring the people that are supposed to be on the team.
Amen.
And hearing that from a man who has so much wisdom, he could have been at any church doing anything. It just really set me free. And it's a conversation I think back to all the time.
Wow. Wow. It's incredible. I want to keep us moving. So maybe a lot of people listening don't know how a church starts. Like, did y'all just show up and have a flyer and say, we're starting this church? I mean, tell me about moving to Nashville, dropping off your bags and going, we're going to do this. Like, where do you find volunteers? Tell me about maybe some of the first few meetings.
Yeah.
that was a conversation we had when we were like so excited about Nashville. We were like, okay, let's do it. And then we're like, but what are we doing?
Do?
We're here and
hey guys, we're here.
What do we do next? Like, do we just walk down the streets and it's like, hey, we're starting a church. Come on.
A couple times I told this guy at a coffee shop that we were planting a church, and he said, how long have you been in landscaping? He like legit thought that we were church landscapers.
No.
Like he had never heard. So then we realized we don't tell people we're planting a church. We tell people we're starting a church. So we changed our language very quick.
We definitely changed our language on what we were doing.
Yeah.
We're so grateful. Like I said earlier, we have people around us. We were like, okay, what does this look like?
Yeah.
So we were able to get connected to like people like ARC. They help plant churches and train them up and start them and give them the resources. Like people like us, like, what do you do? And it's like, okay, here is like
that really changed
a guideline on how you can do this and do it well.
Yeah.
And that was such a pivotal piece for us, getting to sit in those rooms and learn all of that and then take, all that wisdom and move it to the city.
Yeah.
But there are still a lot of moments where we're like, hey, you think this will work?
Yeah.
And we're like, I don't know. Do we feel peace about doing it? Yeah, let's go for it.
Wow.
And if it doesn't work, we'll pivot.
Well, we got here and we were like so on fire. Like it was supposed to be Nashville. We did all this training. We were ready to go. And we got here and we were supposed to close on a house, and it ended up being delayed like a little over a full week, I think.
It was rough.
We had to stay in a hotel.
Oh, wow.
With our son at the time, who was like 6 months old, maybe 8 months old.
Yeah, around like 8, 9 months.
You were pregnant. We didn't know, and you were like starting to feel sick. Then we got into the house, and it just wasn't what we thought it was going to be.
We actually closed, and we're driving around where the house was, and then we both just started crying.
Yeah.
And we were like, did we just make a huge mistake?
Yeah.
What?
And we were also all in like financially. Like I don't think we've ever shared this before, but like I'd written a book, and basically we used all of our money, our personal money, to buy the house. And then we took all of the money that came from the book, which was everything. Like that was the rest of the money that we had, and we sowed it into the church because we felt like that's what God asked us to do.
Wow.
So when we moved into the house, it was like, we're out of money. Like there's no money. We feel like we made a mistake on the house. The rest of our money is now in a church bank account that we can't get out if we want to. And so we got to figure out a way to make this work. And then I got on a plane 2 days later to preach and left her at home feeling unsafe.
Oh, man.
Which we should talk about the Crumptons, because Pastor Connor Crumpton
They
then
are
drove
my
over
heroes.
and checked on you. And
a lot. So just to preface though, like for our house situation, we didn't get to really like come and see the house before we moved here. We had somebody who was amazing, but helped us like video everything. But we really didn't know the area. We didn't really know like where we were moving until we got here. And it was so much spiritual warfare on just like little things like that whole week, staying in the hotel and everything. And then truly driving around our house, it was just really unsafe. For a lot of different reasons.
Yeah, there was like some shootings. It just felt heavy, and then
It felt
and then
very
I
heavy
left
in the area.
to
And
go
then
preach.
Noah just left me. He said, "You know what? Good luck, Maddie. Figure this out."
She called me like the night that I left, and she was like, "Babe, there's gunshots down the street." And I'm like, "No, it's fireworks. Like you're just freaking out."
And I'm like, in August?
Yeah.
I don't think we're celebrating anything.
Wow.
But anyways, I just felt like that was important to mention, because I think anytime God calls you to do something that is like truly a calling, there's going to be these moments where you feel like, yes, God called us to do this. I'm on fire. And then there's going to be real spiritual opposition, and there's going to be really difficult times as well. And you can't be caught flat-footed by that, because then you'll quit before you ever started. Yeah. And we felt the desire of like, did we mess up?
Wow.
And thank God that we had great people in our life, great friends who were in it with us, and we just kept going, and God had it. But the practical side was really like just building relationships in the city and casting vision.
Yeah.
It was just like, this is what we feel called to do. This is the vision of Way Church. We're not here to take people from other churches. We're here to take people from hell. We're here to be unified with our brothers and sisters in the city. And we want to create a community that unbelievers want to be a part of.
It's beautiful, man.
And this is how we're going to do it. And we just shared vision, and drank a lot of coffee.
I'll say we had a lot of dinners at our house.
Yeah.
A lot of dinners out.
Yeah.
2 couples at a time, just
Yeah.
not that way. It wasn't just us getting to know them, but it was them getting to know each other to help just continue building that community. So that was a huge piece. We did that for what? I mean, we still do it.
Yeah. I mean, we did it for like 8 months straight.
Yeah.
And is this
6,
just
8
like,
months?
hey, would y'all want to be a part of this vision?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Wow. And
Pretty
where are you
much.
finding these people?
Well, we would camp out at the same coffee shop. Like in the beginning, it was this coffee shop called Stay Golden. We were there every day for like one of us was there every day for like 3 months. We'd meet people, and then we were posting about it. We would get coffee with someone that was like a friend of a friend, and then at the end of the coffee, we'd be like, "Hey, do you have any friends I should know?" Like it was very forward.
gosh.
You know, it's like very speed dating kind of vibes.
Yes.
But
Also, our son Lion. I mean, Lion.
Love my
Just the
my
kid
lion.
is so full of personality. He's never met a stranger, and so honestly, anywhere we would go, dinner, lunch, breakfast. He starts conversations with everybody.
He does.
Everybody. And because Nashville is also such a place where if you're from here, you're kind of like a unicorn. So many people were moving here, not from here.
Yeah,
So I felt like the question when you would get to know somebody or just meet them, Lion would start conversations. They'd be like, "Oh, like what brought you guys to Nashville?" And we were like, "We love that you asked us that question. Let me tell you."
Yeah.
And
then our pitch started. It was on.
and then we
It was
went for
on.
it.
Press play.
Yeah.
And then we went for it. But
beautiful.
Lion was a huge part of it.
For sure.
Wow.
He truthfully
He did.
opened up so many conversations for us, like everywhere we went.
Yeah.
So
There is a call on that man's life.
Yeah.
I
For
believe
something
that
great.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, someone threw out president the other day,
Yeah.
and I was
They
like, I could
did.
see it.
They did.
Okay, what I do know is that you guys have an incredible team around you.
Yeah, we do.
It's not just you guys, but
Yeah.
there's a team. Some of them are here today.
Yeah.
Pastor Connor, the Crumptons, you mentioned them.
Yeah.
I'd love to just briefly kind of talk about that role, how that happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know that that's a pivotal part of this story.
We tell everyone the
I love their
Crumptons have more
story.
faith than us
Yeah.
because of the situation. But before I say it, it's like someone told us before we started the church, another pastor of a church for like 30 years, he said that there's going to be people who join at the beginning that will be foundational for everything that comes after. And we had no clue that it would be these people we'd never met before.
Never met them.
Never
Never
met. So Grant
Never
Skeldon
met.
calls me and he was, me and Grant were very close, and there's no like fluff. So Grant calls me, he's like, "Hey bro, I think that this church plant is going to be amazing. Obviously we're in." And he's like, you have gifts, but you have some clear weaknesses." That's what he said.
With
And
all
I
the
was
good
like,
friends.
"Yeah, you're right, bro. Just, yeah, for sure I
Yeah.
do." And he's like, "And I know this guy who's really good at all this stuff that you're bad at, and I think you should call him." I'm like, "Great. Where does he live? What part of Nashville?" And he's like, "No, he lives in Dallas, actually like 2 hours north of Dallas."
Oh my God.
And I'm like, "Okay, like, is he trying to move to Nashville?" He's like, no, he has no reason to, but you should just call him." And I'm like, "Bro, okay, well, that's not, what's he do?" And he's like, "Oh, he's crushing it in business and blah, blah, blah." I'm like, "Okay, you're just telling me all these reasons he's not going to move." So I just called, Grant told him I was going to call him, and called him, talked for probably half an hour on the phone, just told him a little bit about our family and about the church plant. And I kind of was just like, "Yeah, man, I think Grant wanted me to call you because he just wants you to know about it. And it doesn't sound like you're trying to move, but I hope we get to meet one day." It was just like this kind of awkward combo.
Yeah.
And his perspective was kind of the same. Like, "Yeah, it seems really cool.
Thanks for
and
calling.
Thanks
you
for
know,
calling. I hope we
good
get to
luck on
meet
your
one
journey
day too." And without telling his side of the story, there was some clear calling on his part to be in ministry, and he didn't think it would be Nashville, but there was a trip that he took out here for us to just hang out because God had continued to speak for a couple of months to him about just praying about it. And so we spent about a day and a half together here in the city, and we're very different. Like, we now know we have a lot of similarities, but as far as like hobbies, like he likes to hunt. I hunt for deals at the mall. You know what I'm saying? Like, he likes to fish, and I don't fish.
Yeah.
So we're very different. And I just remember being like, okay, we're super different, but it's clear he's really sharp. And if God speaks to him, God will speak to him. And a couple weeks later, he's like, "Hey, we're selling our house. We're moving." And I just was like, wait,
Whoa.
hey, like, we don't have money to give you. Like, we can't like start paying you. Like, it's just us, like we're just us.
Yeah.
There's nothing here. And he was just like, yeah, I know. He's like, my wife was like, if you don't do this, because Vic, his wife, was feeling it first.
Wow.
And was really
Yeah,
pushing
shout out
him.
to Vic.
And
Wow.
and so they moved their 2 boys to Nashville actually a whole month before we got here, without a paycheck from Way Church, without a team. And for the next, it was basically 12 months to the day before we started the church. They became our right-hand people and our best friends and people that we could trust with anything. Like I remember our first interest gathering we did, like something went wrong and Connor disappears. And I'm like, where did Connor go? Next thing I know, he's back and the problem's solved. And it was just like that all
sounds
throughout,
like Connor.
Yeah.
all throughout the pre-launch phase.
I had a spider in the bathroom while you were gone. It looked like a tarantula. Call Connor and Vic. They're at the house immediately.
I know.
And get it for me just so I could sleep at night.
Wow.
It was like everything.
So, and yeah, like the people who call Way Church home, like they know the Crumptons, they Way Church would not be here without the Crumptons.
Yeah.
So
there's a loyalty I see with them that is so beautiful with you guys.
Yeah.
And then God brought Jake Still and
it's
brought Andrew and Nick, and the team is just so incredible.
Yeah, it is.
I said it when you guys allowed me to speak, it was like, I would follow this team anywhere, and you carry your age so well that I'm like, I would follow Way Church.
Means a lot, bro.
Tell me a little bit about, as we kind of wrap up, moments that you guys think about that you're like, I'll never forget this. And this could be together. This could be individual. It could be your first meeting with your first leaders. Is there anything you look back now, 2.5 years in, and I'm not sure if you guys have noticed, God has his hand on this church.
Yeah.
Supernatural miracles are happening.
Yeah.
People are coming to know Jesus at a rapid rate.
Yeah.
Tell me about a moment or something when it first started, or your first Sunday. What comes to mind when I say that stirs your heart?
Yeah.
I have so many moments. Like I'm trying to not cry, because I think truly every Sunday when you get home after 4 services, we stand in the kitchen and we're like, wow.
Yeah.
Like we get to do this. This is wild.
Yeah.
Like every moment truly feels like this is just insane. Some of my favorite moments though come from, one, that just the testimonies that we got to hear from the very beginning, like people who had been a part of the church since like our first interest, who were trying to have a baby, we're told couldn't have a baby, now about to celebrate 1 year of that baby's life. Only God moments. We have a series called Only God, getting to stand on stage and watching a family all like weep because of the ways that God was moving in their family's life and had this restoration moment in their family's life.
Yeah.
Like moments like that. And then also just like for our family, like our kids loving church, even like those moments of seeing our kids a part of being in the church and loving it and finding some of their best friends.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, like I feel like I have so many.
I think for me, it's like, it's what Maddie just said. We started this podcast, me sharing like that I'm least gifted at shepherding out of the other 5 types of ministry, but it's that side that brings the most fulfillment. Like when we started the church, I was like, okay, God, I feel like you told an evangelist to start a church. Why would you do this? And now on the other side, or just 2.5 years in, it feels like because he wanted me to get to be a part of long-term fruit. Yeah. And that's so much more fulfilling than anything. I mean, seeing the long-term fruit of our staff, of our coordinators, of people who have been a part just for 2.5 years is not a long time. And just seeing different people in our church who, when I met them, were totally different people. And because of the Holy Spirit's work inside their heart, are now some of the greatest leaders and followers of Jesus that I've ever seen. There is a moment for our family that sticks out, and it was at our old building. My son, we had that overflow room.
Yeah.
And we were packing that overflow room out.
I had many Sundays sitting in that overflow room.
You did, I remember.
And you would come in every time after church. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah. Great memories at 900 Gallatin. And I remember someone took a video of my son in the last,
it was me.
it was you,
It was me.
of my son in the last service of the day. I was on stage preaching, and Lion is watching me preach in a video, and he is like enamored, like he's very into what I'm saying. And Maddie says, what is he doing? And he says, he's telling people about Jesus, and like said a few other things. But it was just like, when I got that video, it just reminded me that we moved here because we want it to be generational. Like, we want this to outlast us. We want this to be something that our kids and our grandkids are a part of and benefit from. And that was like the first sniff of that for me, of like my son being in church, knowing what's happening, being excited about it, and and getting in trouble in class that day. But yeah, it's been the most rewarding and fruitful thing we've ever done.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Wow. It's beautiful. I have 2 more quick questions
Yeah.
as we wrap up.
Yeah.
You guys have 3 kids,
Yeah.
a full life, and yet you're doing so much for the kingdom. I'd just love to hear from you about your wife. Like, what do you see when you look at Maddy Herrin, who's a mom of 3, full-time ministry, caring for so many people? You know, behind every man of God is a strong woman.
For sure.
I'd love to just give you a moment to just, what do you see when you look at Maddie?
Don't make me cry.
I've heard this phrase a bunch. Actually, I think I first heard it from Grant Skeldon, that great leaders are confident in who they are and they're comfortable with who they're not. And so much of the last 2.5 years has happened because Maddie has willingly been comfortable taking a bigger role at home with our kids, and a lesser role in other spots, so that would win. She's one of the most gifted speakers and leaders that I know, but she's willingly taken the behind the scenes roles in this season, so that home would be healthy and so that the culture of our team would stay healthy. And some people would look at that and they'd be like, oh, like Maddie is she's taking a back seat, right? Like but what she's actually done is she's lowered herself. She's humbled herself, and it's actually made everything that we do more effective. And now she's stepping into this newer season where she is doing more things publicly. She is like leading very up front and center. And I think it's given her an even greater authority with the church to be like, hey, like her resume is her love for Jesus and her love for her family, and I want to follow that.
Come on.
And so I think there are some ladies maybe even listening who are like doing a lot at home and doing a lot with the kids and maybe feel like, man, like maybe feel hidden.
Yeah.
And I would just say, like, not only is that the most important thing that you're doing, but it's actually going to make everything else that your family does more effective.
Yeah. Wow.
So
It's beautiful. Beautiful.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
Maddie, to end just this moment, what do you guys want Way Church to be known for? Like, in the decades to come, when people see and think about Way Church, what do you guys want that to be?
I think Noah's alluded to it, just like only God. We talked about it all the time. Like, we don't want people to just come to the church because of Noah and Maddie. Like, I would rather our church be known not as, like Pastor Noah, but I want them to say like Way Church and like what God is doing there. Like, I want to go be a part of what God is doing there. And we just are doing our best to steward that.
Yeah.
I want our church to be known for the presence of God, for miracles taking place, for community, for life-giving community where God is moving. We truly, every decision we make and every conversation we have is always like, okay, could people point and say like, oh, that was just Noah and Maddie doing that? And how can we eliminate that? Like, we truly want our church to just be known because the presence of God is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think when we can continue doing that, like, that's where I think people are going to find that they're going to find Jesus. they're going to find community. And hopefully it's a place where they will be empowered to go live on mission. That's our hope and our prayer for the church and what we're doing. And anything else that the Lord wants to do, we are we're in. Like, I think you could tell from the beginning, like, we're pretty crazy. We kind of like it that way. We're like, yeah, let's just do it. Let's go for it. So whatever God has in store, we are along for the ride.
Yeah. Amazing. It's amazing. Any last words you want to say?
Okay. Nailed it.
Man.
Thanks for being our first guest.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you
guys.
should come back sometime.
Yes.
I'll see if I've got it in the schedule.
We got to go love story. We got to dive into all that, man. My favorite memory to end it off is, I think it was the conference last September. I think it was just like being in a room, Rocketown, in the city, packed house. People are worshiping Jesus. I had a friend that I met, and he was living in Utah, and he came to one of the services and gave his life to Christ. And I remember just like,
special.
Man, God is impacting my friends at this church, and it's so powerful. And he's just getting started.
Well, we're grateful for you and Maddie, bro. You guys are making a huge impact at the church. Grateful that you would do this every week.
I know.
And man, it's just the beginning. We love y'all.
Absolutely. All right. Peace.
Peace.